Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today we're going to be talking about how the NBA could fix the All-Star game. I don't know what I watched Sunday. It was, I didn't mind seeing the players compete for the way they did. The strategy of the tournament, it's not terrible, but I think there's things like how many ads we're playing, how many breaks we saw the players get, where it's a 3-hour All-Star game and only 42 minutes of gameplay happened. That's something that it just needs to be fixed. Or the fact that there's rising stars in the All-Star game. I loved watching guys like Dalton Kennett play in that game the other night, and he looked pretty good. And even like a guy like Stephon Castle, who played phenomenal in the dunk contest. Those are great rookies, and there were some great rookies. I'm a Rockets fan. I love Amen Thompson, and I've always said when there's a play when you have a favorite player because he's on your favorite team, and that player has a family member in the league, you like that family member. So I really like Asar Thompson as well. So some of the players I really like were on that Rising Stars team. I even like Zach Edey, but they should have not been in that game. And so I didn't think it really worked at all. I don't think really anyone kind of liked it. I think maybe the concept of the tournament was nice, but there were too many failed things that happened. Like how many commercials there were, and breaks. Look, I love Inside the NBA. I love Shaq, Charles, Kenny, and of course Ernie. But why was that tribute needed when it happened? Like, the tribute needs to happen 100%. And I'm the last person that's gonna say it wasn't needed. But I think when it happened, it was not needed. The tribute would have been perfect to happen after the All-Star game's over, right after or right before they announce the All-Star MVP. You do the tribute for Inside the NBA, not in the middle of the game. Or middle of the games. I thought that was a failure. Yeah, it was the middle of the game. It was 11-1, I believe, and they do the tribute, and the tribute is a great idea because those guys deserve it. But at that time, the tribute would have been better before or after, not in the middle of it. So, and then you had Jaren was so tough. A random dude named Jaren beat Dame. Not really beat Dame, but made the shot before Dame made three and got the $100,000. That was fun to watch. It was one of the funnest parts of the All-Star game. But that was a 5 or 6 minute thing where the players are they're not playing and they're losing their energy, and that's upsetting them too. A lot of players were upset about how many breaks there were. And so what are the ways that the NBA can fix the All-Star game? I have 3 ideas that the NBA needs to consider to fix this All-Star game. These are the only 3 options I think they can consider to potentially make the players try. The first option I'm going to mention, I don't know if this creates the players to try in these All-Star games because I don't think it changes anything, but I think for fans at least, this makes fans a lot more interested in the game, even if they're not trying. It's the concept of USA versus World. But the problem with USA versus World, then you potentially have maybe some All-Stars that shouldn't be All-Stars. Like, potentially, like we on a normal All-Star game, you see 12 players on a roster. There are 10 players in this league that I think that are not from the US that or could be on the world team, that are very well will be deservable of being All-Stars next year, potentially. And I'm going to name these 10 players. We got Karl-Anthony Towns. And the reason I mentioned Karl-Anthony Towns, yes, he's from the USA, but he has played for the Dominican team because his mother was from the Dominican area. So you could include Karl-Anthony Towns in the world team. Giannis, of course. Kyrie Irving is considering playing for Australia in 2028. You can put him on the world team. Obviously, Wemby, Joel Embiid, Luka, Nikola, Sabonis, Shea from Canada, and Alperen Şengün as well. Those are your 10 guys. And all 10 of those guys right there that are, that are not from the U.S. or have played for, like Cat's played for a Dominican team because that's where his mom's from. Those guys have all been all-stars. Most guys were all-stars this year. Joel Embiid and Luka were only not all-stars because they've been injured this year, and Sabonis was an all-star snub. The rest of the guys I just mentioned were all-stars this season. So those 10 guys could be part of the world team. But here's the problem. Like I mentioned, there's 12 players on a roster. There's not really anyone else that would be potentially all-star worthy, potentially. And then there's I guess the NBA, you have Kristaps Porzingis, you have Jamal Murray, who's from Canada, you have Andrew Wiggins, who's from Canada, also RJ Barrett from Canada. Do the NBA select two of those four guys? Because those are four of the best next NBA players that are not from the U.S. that would not, maybe Nikola Vucevic, maybe. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe Jamal Murray gets an automatic all-star bid, and maybe so does Kristaps Porzingis. I don't know how that would work, how you create two more players, because I do feel like the 10 players I mentioned will be all-star worthy next season, but who knows if Jamal Murray or Kristaps Porzingis or Andrew Wiggins or RJ Barrett will be all-star worthy next season. I think with the USA team, it's easier to potentially find all-stars. I like LeBron, Steph, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Brunson, Mitchell, Bam, AD, Dame, other names on the list potentially to fill out the USA All-Star team. I think it's not the best option for number one. It's more complicated to fill out the rosters, and also it's not going to solve the issue of players trying. But I think it would create that concept of the All-Star game. I think would create more fan interest if you saw European players go up against the American players. A lot of fans would dig into that, I really think, even if the players don't try. But I think filling out the rosters would be tough. The second option is go back to the West versus East concept, but throw out some money for the winning team. Like maybe $1 million each for every All-Star. I don't know. That could be a concept, because we saw how players would try more in these last couple of years with the in-season tournament. We've seen the players try more and be more active in these games, in these in-season tournament games, because money is on the line. These players win money if they win the entire thing. The entire Lakers roster won money by winning the NBA Cup a year ago, and the same thing with the Bucks this year. And even the losers of the tournament got a little bit of money, not as much as the winners. So we saw how that made the NBA more competitive in the in-season tournament. Could doing that to the All-Star game potentially be an idea? I don't know. And I think the best option potentially could be whoever wins West or East hosts the NBA Finals. So if the West beats the East and the NBA Finals is, for instance, the Rockets and the Celtics, then even though if the Celtics have a better record than the Rockets, then the Rockets still host Game 1 and Game 2 of the NBA Finals. And then potentially you got players like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown trying in the All-Star game, because they know they want home court advantage in the NBA Finals because they have a great chance to be there. Same thing with the Cavaliers All-Stars if they're still great next season. If you got Mitchell, Garland, potentially Mobley All-Stars again. Same thing with the Knicks All-Stars with Brunson and Cat. Or you want to go to the West, LeBron and Luka if they're All-Stars. So maybe Steph, so that I think would create players to try more. The two best options to create players to try more in the All-Star game is whoever wins the game gets home court advantage, or whoever wins the game gets a certain money amount per player. We've seen that work in the in-season tournament. Maybe try to make it work in the All-Star game. And then also, even though there's not money on the line, the championship could be on the line for some of the players if you lose. Because I know Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, if they're in that game, they know they have a good chance to be in the NBA Finals. They wanna have home court advantage in the finals. So they would try. I think a lot of players would try more in the two concepts of the home court in the finals, and then also the money. Not both of them, but either or. I think those are those have to be the top two options to fix the All Star game. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. How does the NBA fix the All Star game? Let me know your thoughts, and peace out.